Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and here I have an article for you guys straight from AT&T. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So John Stankey also presented yesterday at the Goldman Sachs Technology Conference. That's where he gave an update to shareholders. So AT&T is confident in full year guidance, including free cash flow of better than $16 billion and adjusted EBITDA growth of 3+%. So interesting. So a few things that he did mention. He did mention that data growth is at almost 40% annually. So that's a pretty big deal. So they know they have to put that mid-band on air as quickly as they can, and I'm referencing the C-band and the DoD. They're still confident they can hit 200 million pops covered with mid-band by the end of the year. Of course, when they say that, they don't disclose if it's all going to be C-band DoD or just, a mix of the C-band and then the C-band DoD. We know, members on the channel, everyone that's involved and that's a wireless enthusiast, we know it's not going to be all C-band DoD. There's going to be a large amount of sites that are just literally C-band. If you look at the boroughs of New York, a lot of those sites didn't come with DoD. They just have C-band on them. So it's going to be hard to figure out what percentage is what, but we know 200 million people are going to be served with some type of AT&T mid-band. AT&T expects to deliver continued profitable 5G and fiber net additions in the third quarter, so that's a good sign. So they're going to be positive there. We don't know how much. He didn't disclose, but he did say that there's going to be profitable net additions, highlighted by low customer churn. So again, he's saying churn is looking good for the quarter. Higher postpaid average revenue per user ARPU, solid year-over-year mobility EBITDA growth, and healthy wireless service revenue growth. So the finances for AT&T should start picking up, especially now that they're selling the home internet air. So that would be a really good boost to the numbers. AT&T is well positioned for the future of converged connectivity for the members. You guys have heard me say that in that video. As the only scaled service provider that has owner's economics on both wireless and fiber, that is wrong. That is very, very wrong. Verizon also has its own fiber running to its wireless sites that includes macros and small cells. So I don't know who put that out, but that is totally wrong. The company continues to be one of the largest investors in America's digital infrastructure and is progressing on its 5G and fiber network builds. That is also wrong. Verizon and T-Mobile are both investing in a digital infrastructure. AT&T remains committed to deploying 5G Plus on mid-band spectrum to 200 million people by the end of the year, as I mentioned, and to passing 30 million households with fiber or customer locations by the end of 2025. So the fiber, again, as I talked about in the previous video, that's a more tedious, longer deployment. That's going to cost a lot more. So from now, they're like I think they're at 22, 23 million households passed. To get to 30 million, it's going to take them another 2 years almost. So that's a very slow grind that AT&T is just, going to go through. So I'll leave a link to this in the description so you guys can check it out. Some commentary from me. It sounds like the good old AT&T, the well-oiled machine. They're not doing anything crazy out of the ordinary, right? They didn't come out and say they're going to shoot for 250 million pops by the end of 2024 with mid-band. They didn't disclose any of that. For now, they're sitting at 175 still. They're looking to get to 200. I think they get there easy. They might do 210, 220, depending. They're moving at a pretty good pace. There's still capital that they can invest, this year, and then CapEx does slow down a little bit next year. But I still think the main focus is going to be fiber. They talked about that in several other conferences. They talk about it at the quarterly earnings. The main focus is fiber. So anything capital-wise, M&A-wise, I think is all going to be on the fiber side. Wireless, as I mentioned, people talk about the U.S. cellular thing. There are some rumors floating around, but if it's not super attractive, I think at the end of the day, AT&T will stay away. They'll just, continue investing. They will continue deploying their mid-band. They will continue deploying the FirstNet assets and continue getting a reimbursement for that. And I think that's how they approach it. They have a ways to go still. The wireless network is not perfect by any means. They still have more density to add in. They know they do. Even in some of the markets where they have a more higher share or market share, they still lack the density. So they never really transitioned to really densifying the network. I know there was a plan in 2014, 2015 to do that with heavy C-RAN deployments, but that got shut down by Randall Stevenson back then in favor of media. So now they're going to have to, at some point, just bite the bullet, and they're going to have to densify. If they don't densify and the site spacing on the macro grid is too far apart, it's going to be a roller coaster on that midband. It's going to be very similar to the Sprint days, if you guys remember that. If you were on 2.5, you were there when you got closer to the site, and if the site spacing was too far apart, you would drop off, and then you would pick it up again. There was no real continuous coverage on that because they weren't dense enough. Now it looks like that may be AT&T if they don't pick that up. I think they will. I think they recognize, hey, this is a higher frequency midband. We need to tighten this grid a little bit more. I think they will do it, but remains to be seen what they announce for next year's guidance. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Live. See y'all in the next one. Peace.